For as long as I can remember, I've been fascinated by the oceans. And as anyone who's met me for more than 5 seconds or so will tell you, that fascination has not died down at all. But the oceans are so much more than my childhood fascination. They are the life and soul of our great planet. They allow countless species of animals to thrive underwater, and they provide so many other resources to our great planet. Now, the oceans provide us with a primary source of food. They replenish our Earth's oxygen supply, and they yield vital medicinal products as well. Now, you may be wondering, what has the ocean got to do with our oxygen supply? Isn't that what trees are for? Well, all the Earth's trees combine to create under 1/3 of our oxygen supply. So where are the other 2/3 coming from? The oceans. There are trillions of microscopic organisms called phytoplanktons, which actually generate over 2/3 of our Earth's oxygen supply. This oxygen is what makes up our ozone layer, which protects us from the sun's harmful UVB rays. This oxygen also is what allows all sea life to live and thrive underwater. And of course, we have a few minor uses for oxygen up here on land as well. Our ocean's coral reefs are also a vital part of the ecosystems. Imagine a world without a cure for asthma, arthritis, or other inflammatory diseases. Enzymes found only on coral reefs are used to treat these terrible ailments. And because of the amazing biodiversity found only on coral reefs, there is a tremendous opportunity to discover and research new medicines that could be possibly found in coral reefs. Our ocean's fisheries are also extremely important. Currently, there are 1 billion people who rely on the ocean's fish as their primary source of protein. And as it so happens, fish happen to be the most cost-effective source of protein available, which is why another 500 million rely on the ocean's fisheries to make a living every single day. So the ocean's fish are just so important, not only to the oceans, but also to the hundreds of thousands of people who may not otherwise be able to support themselves. Okay, so let's recap. The oceans provide us with a steady supply of oxygen, they provide us with a primary food source, and they give us important medicinal ingredients. But all these things are in danger because as we continue to degenerate this precious resource. One of the biggest threats to our ocean currently is the increasing amounts of plastic and waste that enter our oceans on a daily basis. Right now, it is estimated that 40 million pounds of trash and plastic enter our oceans every single day. Fish, birds, and turtles mistake this plastic for food, which can be an often fatal mistake that affects more and more sea creatures every single day. And many of these sea creatures that eat the seafood wind up on our seafood menus, which means that we end up eating that same plastic and trash that we dump into the oceans without even thinking about it. So what goes around really does come around. And another major problem is our coral reefs are slowly dying out. Over the past 30 years, the oceans have lost over 1/2 of its coral reefs. Past 30 years. They've been building up for hundreds of thousands of years, but just think about how much time it took for them to all just be erased. If this trend continues, the oceans will lose one of its most valuable ecosystems in the coral reefs. One of the major factors of this is blast fishing, which is a practice used by commercial fishers and individual fishers alike, which is where they use dynamite to make their catch. This practice can turn a thriving coral reef into a barren wasteland in a matter of seconds. This practice, along with the increasing amounts of chemicals entering our oceans from lakes, rivers, and streams, are slowly depleting our oceans of its coral reefs. Once the oceans lose enough of its coral reefs and there is permanent damage, the oceans will have lost a vital ecosystem. We will lose those important medicinal ingredients that I discussed earlier. And we give up the opportunity to make potentially amazing advances in science through coral research. Now, I know the future of the oceans doesn't currently seem very bright, but there is still hope. There are plenty of organizations that are fighting every day to raise awareness and initiate ocean cleanups. Around the world, governments are slowly passing more and more laws to protect our oceans and keep them safe from potentially devastating damage. And there are ways that each of us in this room can help today. First off, refrain from purchasing coral products of any kind, such as jewelry or home decor items. Second, try to reduce your plastic usage by using a reusable water bottle or even enjoying a strawless drink. You may also try, there are also plenty of apps and websites available to use that allow the user to identify if their seafood is sustainably sourced. That way you can be sure that you're aware of the oceans at all times and that you're not doing any permanent damage to the oceans. And finally, maybe the most fun, just even going snorkeling or scuba diving in certain areas of the oceans will show local communities that the ocean is worth more alive than dead.